Hello and welcome to World of Tanks with me, Jack the Ripper, and this is World of Tanks Xbox Edition.
Of the light tanks, of the premium tanks you get, by far the best is the Panzer V. That is a Panther turret, Panther chassis with a Panzer III fully upgraded turret. Doesn't have the best gun depression, but good armour, very fast. General all-round T-14 destroyer, which is one of the nice things with it. If you see, right, if you go over and you press RB, you flick over to the next thing, and you can have a look at the tank tech trees. It says tanks, but it's the tech trees. And here, so you see the Americans, and this is all that's available. You get the primary artillery route, which is fair enough, goes all the way up to the T-92. You can press X to go and view in detail, and then press Y to look at the packages, or you can press Y whilst just on it to get a more vague, overview of the tank. Now over here you'll see you only go up to tier 5 on the light tank line, but what they have added in, I don't know if this is the same on the computer, I can't remember off the top of my head, you can go from the Chaffee to the M41. And so, as the Chaffee is an absolute monster in this game at the moment, you'll see a lot of people running Chaffies just to jump up to the M41. Now I quite enjoy playing artillery. It's not in a scumbag sense. I just it's something to do when I'm bored, and the number of hate mails you get, it's always hilarious. So I'm not going down that light tank right now, especially bearing in mind if they do start to update some of the more lines, then the American light tank line, in my opinion, is by far not the best. Although it's not bad in any sense, there are just better tanks. Here you see you get the non-turreted line for the American tank destroyers, finishing with the E3, which is an absolutely lethal tank. Then on the medium line, you start off with the M3 line. Sorry, you get the T2, the M2, the M3, and then here you get to choice. You can split to the T1 Heavy or the M4 Sherman. Personally, when I do this, because I will be doing this one shortly, I always go down the medium line, because you can go through the M3 Lee to the M4 to the Jumbo. Now the Jumbo is quite a fun tank, and a good Jumbo driver will beat a good M6 driver most of the time. The frontal armour of 152 on the turret, 102 on the hull. I mean, let's see, if you go the last gun, the 90mm on this, it's got 160mm penetration. Now if you're well angled, they're not going to pen your turret, basically. And if you're very well angled, they're probably not even going to pen your front. So you can sit there taking shots all day. Whereas their armour, very flat. In fact, if they try and angle it, more often than not, those little side bits will create flat spots for you to shoot through. So it's not worth it, if nothing else. And also, as you see here, once you've unlocked that package, you can unlock both the T29 and the T20, allowing you to both go down the medium line and the heavy line. And so your choices are: go down the heavy line and unlock the heavy line, and then have to do the whole grind again on the medium line just to get the mediums, or be able to do the grind to get the medium line or the heavy line, and then on a fully upgraded tank do the grind again to get into the medium line or the heavy line again, whichever one you chose not to do in the first place. So I think you get a similar situation actually in the Germans, but first I'll show you the British. The British here, you get a bit of a mixed up line. You get the standard tank destroyer line. It's not a big thing there. With obviously the AT2, which is the king of trolling. I know a lot of people like the T. Oh, what's it called again? The T18, and that's very good for trolling, especially when you get fully upgraded and a full crew on it. But I don't think it has a touch on the AT2 tier for tier. I've taken my AT2 into tier 7 games, sat there bouncing shots off fully upgraded T29s while I penned their weak spots on the machine gun port on the front. So yeah. Of it. And then you get the AT-15, which basically allows you to shoot round corners, which is a nice touch, and the 183 at the very end, obviously, with its ridiculous potential of rounds per minute damage with the Hesh rounds. And then you get a medium line, but at tier 4 it stops being the medium line and becomes the heavy line. I do believe in an update soon to come, once after full release, they will be making it so you can have the full medium line and the full heavy line. But until then, you just get the medium line turning into the heavy line. Then the Germans. Now I'll show you here what I was on about before with the splitting again. Here, if you go down here and you go down the, so you get choice. You can go down the medium route, and at which point it brings you onto the 360-1H, and then down the Tiger 2, the E75, the E100. It's all very nice. If you go here, you can go down the Panzer II, which allows you to go to the Panzer IIIA and the Panzer IIG. Now, I personally love that Panzer IIG. I think it's an absolute beast of a tank. That 3cm gun, 95 penetration down at Tier 3. If you look at the Leopard, Tier 5, it's the same 3cm gun. Much better rate of fire, and I think it has a bigger clip, but that gun tears it up. You can just sit there, once you've got your reload, you pop round the corner, you unload every shot, and if every shot hits, you've pretty much killed any tank at your tier. And then you've got to disappear again. And the armour is surprisingly good. 30, but if you angled well, I bounced a lot of shots. Anyway, so that allows you to go down the light line if you want, which hopefully they'll expand to go up to the Tier 7, I think is the last German light tank. I know it's the French are the only ones to go to Tier 8, and I think maybe the Chinese. But obviously they aren't on this game yet. But then you get to go down the light mediums, if you want to call them that, which eventually becomes the full medium line. Then here, at the 3001H, you unlock this, and by unlocking that package there, unlocks the Panther and the 360-1H. You keep going and you unlock the Panther. This then unlocks the Panther II and the Tiger II. Now, of course, that means you miss out on the Tiger, but you can jump straight across the line and you're much closer to your final goals. And it's an alright grind. I mean, the gun on the Panther, it's a good gun. I mean, you don't necessarily do huge amounts of damage, but it's a good rate of fire, good penetration, quite good accuracy. I mean, 0.29. You don't get many guns that can do that. And then one of the fun thing I find absolutely fascinating and shows how good of a tank this Tier 5 German is, the Stug. I see lots of people running around with that 105 because they see 350 damage or 410 firing HE, and they just, they just get excited. Well, that's how we'll word it. But this 7.5, 13 rounds a minute, 0.33 accuracy, 1.7 second aiming time, 150 pen. 150 pen at Tier 5. Let's have a look at Tier 5, let's see, Panzer IV, 80 armour. Nope. Panzer III-4, 60 armour. Nope. Leopard, 50 armour. Nope. Let's go to the Americans, let's go to the T1 Heavy. So, T1 Heavy. 102mm on the turret. Pen that every shot. T14, 101 on the turret, 51 on the hull, and the hull on that is especially troll. I mean, it bounces shots from ridiculous angles. You'll go through that every shot. M4, 5176. No, there's not a single tank basically. There's not a tank in the game. Even the 82. Now, yes, 203, 102 from the side, 102 from the rear. You'll pen them very easily. But if you shoot the commander's cupola or straight down the middle of the gun, more often than not, you'll pen with that Stug shot. So that Stug is incredibly overpowered at that tier. And just to give you an example of how brilliant that gun is, if you look at the stats, 13.33 rounds a minute, 150 pen, 135 damage. Let's go down to tier 9 at the E50 stock gun, 13.33 rounds a minute, 150 penetration, 135 damage. I think slightly less accuracy, in fact. But the tier 9 stock gun, so a gun still being used at tier 9, is the same gun on the Stug. I don't know whether that says how ridiculously underpowered the E50 stock gun is, or how ridiculously overpowered the Stug 2's gun is. So Stug 3. But I think it's the Stug 3's gun being ridiculously overpowered, because this tank is one of the greatest tanks on the game, in my opinion, tier for tier. Only to be maxed by things like the Jag Tiger and potentially the 82 if you know how to use it. Here you can go across and look at stats. So you see there I've played 367 games, 68% win rate, which is a bit of a drop, bearing in mind I was 75 not long ago. Yeah, you can see different tanks that I've played in, what my win rates are in them. Apparently did absolutely dreadful in the Panzer Jäger. And you see some of the ones that I've skipped over by using free XP. And then here you can see your overall, which allows you to show your hit ratio, your medals, your vehicles destroyed, survived, defeats, victories, etc, etc. Then you press Y, you get show medals. And here you can have a look through the different medals you got, what they are, how you got them, all this sort of stuff. And yeah, so that's the stats. And then obviously you go over to the store. And the store, first thing you get is you get buy premium. Here you can obviously you buy premium. So here I could buy 2,500 if I wanted to. sorry, I've got 2,000. I've got more than 2,500, so I could buy 30 days if I wanted to. You can buy a day, 3 days. Obviously, as far as I'm aware, money for best money value-wise is 360 days. But to get the gold to buy that, it's £69. Now, interestingly, the first 2 days of the full release to beta players, these all prices were different, and I don't know what's going to happen with them in the future. And I bought all the founders and quick start packs, so I'm more than willing to wait because I've got 36 days of premium. And here you see exchange gold, and you can convert say a 1 to 400. So if I wanted to, I could convert probably quite a large amount into. I'm not going to because it would cost an absolute fortune, because that's £10 down the drain for a matter of silver. But yeah, as you can see, what's 1,000? 1,000 is 400,000, so not really worth it. Convert XP. Now this is a useful feature. You can also press X to max out, which is very. You see up there it says convertible X, convertible, and then a 3, which shows that there is a total of 3 XP available to me to convert. Which is obviously not very much, but I've converted all I had to show you the T4 with the T2 medium. And then the specials you get to see here. So you get the Founders Pack 1, Founders Pack 2, the 30 days of premium. So for 100 more gold there, you get the same, but you also get 100,000 silver, which is nice, nice touch. But I'm pretty sure that's the exact same price as converting the gold anyway. Then here you get 1,000,000 silver at 360 days for the 25,000. Now that is essentially worth it. If you do decide to go for the year, I recommend getting that special deal, because it's the exact same price as just buying a year's premium. So if you go here, oh, it's 24,000, so it's 1,000 off, sorry. So it's 1,000 more, but you get 1,000,000 gold, which is 600,000 more than you would if you just converted it. And here you see the quick start packages and the founders packs. Personally, that is one of the best. Now they've changed the prices. When I bought them all, they were all under 4,000. I think they were 3,400 to 3,200 each. That one has now gone up because it has a tier 7 in. Maybe there was an issue with the tank's pricing at first, but very much not worth it. The T127 light tank is a fun little thing. Very good armor for its tier, especially in the hull. Very good gun, quite fast, and gives you an experience of what you're going to get with some of the Russian tanks. That one, you get a tier 7 that it's just awful. It really is. Against any other tier 7 tank which has been ground up, then you're going to get absolutely slaughtered. The only interesting thing that comes with it is when you read its history in terms of in World of Tanks. Originally, this was the tier 9 medium. And it was the tier 9 medium that the American line had. And it's now been replaced, obviously, with the 46 pattern. And yeah, I have no idea how this was ever better than a Pershing. From what I'm aware, the story is that it was a tier 9, they dropped it down to a tier 8 premium when they introduced the 46 pattern. They then, I'm guessing, dropped it down to a tier 7 premium, and then just removed it from the game. So the only thing that's worth for that thing is that probably won't be here very long. It's a Founders Pack. I believe after a couple days of the game full release, you won't be able to get that. Potentially it might be sooner than that, I'm not sure. So the only reason to get that is to say you've got one. There is very few people who will have one eventually, but it is awful. There is no other way of putting it. The 30 days of premium is nice. The 10 repair kits, first aids, and fire extinguishers, again very nice. Here you only get 5 of each and 7 days premium. So I suppose the main advantage of that is you get a month's premium as well as all the tanks, which is nice. But again, I wouldn't have paid. If for 7,000 gold, I probably wouldn't have bought it. When I bought it, it was only 3,500 or 3,400, something like that. Then the quick start packs, that's nice because you get 1,000,000 silver in each. If you are going to get one of these, you do get a T2 in either. I've got to say the mini jumbo, as I call it, because it's supposed to be a jumbo, but it's a tier below. It's just not worth it. The thing that makes the jumbo great is its frontal armor and its gun. The mini jumbo doesn't have any of that. The German T25 tank, that's very fast, very good view range. Not the worst armor, but not the best. But it's an all-round good tank. If you're going to get one of these, I recommend this one. You get basically the exact same thing you'd get in that one. You just get a better tank, all in all. and then obviously here you get news. So let's have a look at here. So welcome, blah 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 blah, etc. etc. Founders pack. Yeah, so there you go. The 28th of February is when those founders packs go. I believe it's the 12th or the 18th. I can't remember exactly where the full release will go global, and we'll get to see lots of new people coming on, and most likely they're going to be trolled by people who have ground out low tier tanks to be seal clubbers. But yeah, that'll be fun. And then here I might jump into a game with one of my tanks just to show you the loading screens and whatnot. Let's see, what should we use? Let's try the... Well, let's show you the Panzer V just to show you what I'm on about with this medium tank. Now here you'll see the queue system. Well, not for very long it seems. That's one of the things that hopefully you're going to get used to. When in the beta there was lots of time spent in the queue, especially at the lower tiers, and even more so at the higher tiers later on. But they do seem to have improved that a little bit in terms of some of the matchmaking abilities, but some of the games you'll see are just absolutely horrific. Here we jumped into Malinovka, tier 5 game, but with 2 tier 6s. Oh, 3 tier 6s. But here I'll just try and show you. That's T14. Whilst he's actually inactive, I'll show you on the main weak spots on this tank is that little machine gun port just there. Hopefully, well, I say hopefully, but I might run across one at the top of the hill, which is basically the place to go on this game. Just on Malinovka, if anything. There is one exception to the rule, which is in Assault, where you need to run down the hill to win it, but on this, you need to run up the hill to win it. Now, obviously, don't leave no one defending your cap, otherwise you're going to be screwed. You'll end up getting split. If you run up here like this, I personally try and stay slightly more to the left, even if it means taking slightly longer, especially when there's people in front of me, because if you get spotted from this hand side, I've done it many times where I've been late coming up the hill. I've decided I'm not going to be able to help them out yet straight away because there's too many tanks up there. You can sit somewhere around over there in about D0, and you can take shots across into the flank here. And assuming you've got an accurate gun, you don't even need the penetration really, because it's the side of everyone's tank. You'll sit there and you'll keep racking up the damage. Now, the downside to this tank is that ridiculously large cupola that sticks massively out from the tank, and this very little gun depression. You'll see here, if I look on from the side, that is as low as it will go. Full stop. You cannot get the gun to go any lower than that. And yet here there's lots of dips in the ground, so being able to get your gun down low is quite nice. Now let's see here, T1 Heavy has been lit up. Let's see if I can get some side shots into him. Straight away, bit of an issue with the gun depression, but push forward a little bit, and then you aim for the side, damaging hit. And even at this sort of angle, you can pen these guys pretty easily from the side. Now, he took a blind shot back at me, and you'll notice I also took a blind shot at him. But I was following his movement speed back with my turret, and it's a little trick that I think is always worth doing, just trying to see how fast I can get back. Here we see the T1 Heavy and the Panzer V, another Panzer V-4, shows the how good this tank is, the fact that there's probably a couple of them lying about somewhere. The T14s, you'll see lots of those because they were given out to pretty much anyone in the beta. They seem really overpowered, but they're not. Once you get a tier 5 tank that you've ground up, you'll kill one with relative ease. And this, as a premium aspect, is a relatively nice tank to try and have to use. As I say though, yet again, gun depression starts to let me down. Can't get the gun down again, have to keep edging forward. Got the gun down, shot into his ammo rack. You see there, I've just been spotted, track damage. Keep shooting him, try and take the stock out of the game. It's a useful tank. Another thing I'm doing is I'm trying to keep this rock that you'll see marked on the map between me and the other team as much as possible. You see there I'm bouncing shots. Got a shot at the side of that and the rear of that jumbo. Aim further behind him. There you'll see the fly time of the shells on this. It's not great, it is a high velocity gun, it is no howitzer, and I will try and do a video in the near future on to differences in strengths and weaknesses and how to use howitzers and the likes. Yeah, again here I'm struggling to get the gun down. I accidentally track him, but not a bad thing. I get spotted shortly afterwards, so I move back to make sure I'm in cover of this rock. Now artillery like to hide down at the back over there, so I'm gonna, hopefully using this rock, push forward and use these little ridges here. You'll see that's another Panzer V full rushing past, also on full health. I've taken a hit, but yeah, it's nothing too bad. It's a very good amount of health really for a medium tank at this tier. And I'm going to push down here just in case, because you'll really be surprised how close you can get to some tanks. Especially artillery and light tanks, if they've got a camo net up before you spot them. We see my team have taken the hill here, and because of it, there is almost no chance for these guys. I'm going to rush the shot here, but didn't get the kill, but you rush the shot because you're not going to hit him if you don't, basically. Shot at the turret, someone else gets him before I do. Here, side of a T14, I want to bounce. This is what I was on about to do with the troll of this tank. If you also notice, I'm trying to keep myself at a bit of an angle. Oh, that's taken some damage there. See, there's a side shot at this guy, although he's now moved. Take a couple of pot shots. Now, I don't recommend sitting back. This gun is a good gun, but it's not highly accurate, especially not at range. Now, my drive has been killed, but it's not worth the repair cost. 3,000, this game is as good as 1. I'm not a slow tank, I'm a manoeuvrable tank anyway, I can afford it. Here, you'll see that there's a dead T14 between me and that artillery. So I'll just push forward a bit. I push forward, try to pop the shot, but it doesn't matter anyway. Then here we have a T14. You see, I aim for that gun port. It's a difficult shot to see when he's behind cover. Aim for it again. Aim for it again, but someone beats me to it. See another Panzer V full. First thing I do, aim for the turret. Aim for that turret, you'll pen pretty much every shot. I'll just give you an example. I'm going to probably lose the kill here. Oh, someone got him anyway. You aim for that hole, you'll probably bounce. You never know. Here you see, and my team won. Main reason we won, we took the hill. We took it at speed, and it meant that they were getting flanking shots, and if they turned to face us at the north, then they were shot from the west. If they turned to the west, they'd get shot from the north. There you go. First game in that tank today. Let's see, I got 870 damage. That gorilla did very well. 2,000 damage. He was put in his way. You see there, lots of spotting, lots of people hit. Got me a Confederate medal. 3,000 XP, 53,000 credits. The other thing of premium tanks, you can make a lot of money playing these. And if you look on the other team, T14 517, T14 173, T14 123, T14 0, Ram 2 0. They're not great tanks, and that's at the mini jumbo 872. He did alright. I really don't like that tank. I don't think it's got a touch on it. You look at the T14s on ours as well, they did absolutely dreadful. You see the two Panzer V 4s though, 742, 870, both near the leaderboards, near the top of the leaderboards. Good damage output, and I think it's a good tank all round.
If you see me around the battlefield, feel free to say hello. I'm often in party chat, so feel free to give me a nudge and shout at me down the mic, or send me a quick message, say oi, join game chat. If you have any questions, I'll help. If you have any comments on the videos, I'll listen, and I'll do whatever I can to make sure you keep getting, I was going to say quality, but the best I can provide will be an adequate description. So, as always, to quote Jingle, see you on the battlefield.